Hi, our second session, breakout session already. That is cool because after that we'll have our demo jam. Okay? We're getting ready for that. So today here we're going to talk about Flow Orchestra and the future of Salesforce automation. Okay, so let me give a brief introduction of our speaker. Basically, she's Meera R Nair. She's a solution architect with UST. Currently a Salesforce MVP with 15 years of experience itself. Tied to her, she also have 18 Salesforce certification as well with Salesforce application and Salesforce architect. Now, I'll let her introduce more of herself inside later. So with no further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Meera Nair.
Hello everyone, a warm welcome to Sea Dreaming. My name is Meera R Nair and currently I am working as a Salesforce architect at UST. I have around 14 years of IT experience in which 12 has been on the Salesforce platform. I am a Salesforce MVP and also leading Salesforce Trivandrum developer group. This is our today's topic, Flow Orchestrator, and as per Salesforce, this is going to be future of Salesforce implementation. A big thank you to all our sponsors who made this event a big success. This is our agenda for today. We will be seeing what is Flow Orchestrator, when this can be used, Flow Orchestrator anatomy, and then we will be seeing different types of Flow Orchestrator available, the different building blocks. Then we are going to see a demo on actual Flow Orchestrator implementation for a real-time use case. First, let us see what is Flow Orchestrator. Currently, in Salesforce, if you would like to implement a complex business process, you might end up in doing heavy customization. But Flow Orchestrator is a solution for this. Using Flow Orchestrator, you will be able to implement complex business process which involves multi-step, multi-user, multi-department interaction. Also, you will be able to sequence different actions utilizing Flow Orchestrator. Let us see when to use Flow Orchestrator. If you want to build a complex advanced approval process, you can utilize Flow Orchestrator. Later, we will be seeing a real-time scenario of how you can implement this using Flow Orchestrator. And if you want to implement a new employee onboarding process where you want people from multiple departments to review the employee details, approve it, verify details, that kind of complex verification process can also be implemented as part of Flow Orchestrator. Or if you want to build an interactive update to a record where we need input from multiple people, that is another scenario where you will be able to utilize Flow Orchestrator. This is how a Flow Orchestrator anatomy looks like. It mainly consists of 4 different components. First one is element. An element you can see I have highlighted here. It contains this particular box where you will be able to mention different types of steps involved in that particular box and also a decision element. So these are different elements as part of a Flow Orchestrator. Second thing is a connector. So connector is nothing but which is combining different elements inside a particular Flow Orchestrator. Then we can see a stage. A stage is nothing but which defines or which is clubbing together a set of operations inside a box. And fourth one is resource. In each of the stage, it can consist of multiple steps actually. You will be able to mention different operations as part of a single stage. In each of the step, you will be selecting a particular flow to be executed. So these different operations which can be selected from toolbox are known as resource. There are 2 types of Flow Orchestrator. One is auto-launched orchestration. That means once you create this type of Flow Orchestrator, you will be able to call or invoke that from Apex, Process, REST API, and many other places. The second type is record-triggered orchestration, where You can associate that particular flow as part of a record triggered operation. Like whenever you are creating a new record, updating a record, or deleting a record, you can specify a sequence of actions to be executed. Now let us see what are the different building blocks of a flow orchestrator. There are four main building blocks: stage, steps, flow, and work items. We have seen what is a stage. This is basically a box like you can see here. A stage is a group of related steps which are executed sequentially. And stage consists of two status: in progress and completed. A stage can be completed in two scenarios. First is when all the steps associated with that stage is completed, or you will be able to specify a particular flow, and that flow will get executed, and as a result of flow execution it can respond with a success message, and that will be considered as a stage completion. The second component is step. Like I mentioned, it is the main part of a stage, and a step can be executed parallelly or sequentially within a particular stage. There are two types of steps associated with a flow orchestrator: a background and an interactive. Background means this will be getting executed at the back end, and the users won't be seeing any details of this execution. Interactive means it's the screen flow component, and user can enter input and they will be able to see the results of what is happening as part of that step execution. Now, the third component is a flow. Like I mentioned, when you have a step, each step will be associated with a flow. And there are two types of steps, like we mentioned: background step and interactive steps. And background step will be always calling an autological flow, and an interactive step will be always calling a screen flow. The last component is a work item. It is basically a step assigned to a particular user, and it will happen only in the case of an interactive flow. And assigned user will be always receiving an email whenever a particular interactive flow is assigned to that particular user. The status of this work item can be either assigned or completed. Later, I will show you all these four components of a flow. Now, we are going to see a real-time demo of how a flow orchestrator can be utilized. This is my demo scenario. We will be executing this flow on opportunity record, and whenever opportunity stage is becoming value proposition, my flow orchestrator will get initiated. So this is a record triggered flow orchestrator. And when the stage is value proposition, I want to automatically submit this particular opportunity for approval. Once it is submitted for approval within the Flow Orchestrator, I want to check the amount associated with this opportunity. If it is less than 10,000, then I would like to reject this opportunity. If it is greater than 10,000, then this opportunity will be getting assigned to a user for review and approval. As part of this review approval, he will be getting a screen where it will be displaying duplicate opportunities of that opportunity based on a set of criteria. Seeing the duplicate records, the user will be able to review the details and he will be able to either approve or reject it. If reject, then the complete approval process is completed. If he is approving this, then this record will be getting assigned to a second user for further approval process. And the second user is going to review the opportunity for the discount, and he will be getting three different actions associated as part of this review process. He can either update the discount amount and approve the opportunity, or he can confirm the current discount amount and approve it, or he can reject the opportunity. So this is what we are going to implement as part of this flow orchestrator. Let me open my org and let us go to approval process. So I have already created an approval process on opportunity, but this does not contain much operations other than defining two steps. update opportunity stage and discount approval. The first step will be assigned to a sales manager. Second stage is assigned to my own user. And no other operations are happening as part of this approval process, and all the operations or scenario that we just mentioned will be getting executed as part of Flow Orchestrator itself. So let us go to Flow. Now I am going to show you how you will be able to create a Flow Orchestrator. For that, you can click on New Flow, and once you are on this New Flow screen, you can choose All plus Templates, and here you will be getting Flow Orchestrator option. Like I mentioned, there are two types. One is auto launched and second thing is record triggered. Like I mentioned, our Flow Orchestrator should get executed on a particular stage of the opportunity. So I'm selecting record triggered, and this is how the Flow Orchestrator looks like. And here you will be able to edit and mention to which object this particular flow is associated with. And I have selected opportunity here, and I would like to execute this one when a record is getting updated. Also, you can mention what is the entry criteria. Like I mentioned, I would like to execute this when the stage name equals value proposition. So I have chosen that as the action, and you can save this. Now the actual operation is going to happen. Like I mentioned, what is our first step? If the stage is value proposition, you need to submit this particular opportunity for approval. So you can click on this particular plus symbol, and you will be getting with two action. One is stage and one is decision. So here we want to do a particular operation, so I am choosing it as a stage. And for the stage, you can assign some meaningful name. I'm giving it as submit for approval. Also, you can select an exit condition here for this particular stage. Like I mentioned, there are two options. One is when all steps have been completed, or when a specific evaluation flow returns true. We are choosing as the step completion. Once the stage is created, you will be able to add steps under that particular stage. In our case, we want to submit this for approval, which is going to be a background step. So I'm selecting background step. And the condition is when the stage starts, the step is going to start. You need to select a flow to get executed as part of this particular step. So I am selecting submit for approval here. Before continuing, actually let me go back and show you this particular flow which I created already. This is submit for approval flow. This is just an auto launcher flow which is calling an action which performs the standard submit for approval action. And I have got a variable called opportunity ID here that needs to be passed from the flow orchestrator to this particular flow, so that this can identify the submit for approval should be executed on which opportunity. So I have selected that particular flow here, and to the opportunity ID variable, I need to pass the current record ID. So now we have created an action for submit for approval. Now, what needs to be done? As per our criteria, once it is submitted for approval, we need to check if the amount associated with this opportunity is less than 10,000. So definitely this is going to be a decision. So since it is decision, I am clicking on this particular plus symbol. I am choosing decision here. You can enter all the basic details. Check for amount less than 10K. The criteria is going to be record dot amount less than 10,000. So we have created the actions. Now you can see automatically it is showing two paths for this, like less than 10K, what should happen, and otherwise what should happen. So if it is less than 10K, I want to reject this opportunity in the approval process. For that, let me click on this plus symbol, and I will be able to create a stage under this particular action. The name I am going to give is reject opportunity, because that is what we are going to do here. This is the stage that we are going to create. So let us add a step. And again, this is a background step because automatically the opportunity should be rejected. We are keeping the default label here. What you need to do is you need to select a flow. I have already created a flow for opportunity rejection action. So I am selecting that flow here. This is the flow I have created for opportunity rejection. This is nothing but it is coding an Apex action which will be performing the opportunity rejection, and I am passing opportunity ID as a parameter to that Apex action. This is the Apex class which is performing the opportunity approval operation. Currently, Flow does not have the capability to approve or reject a record through its standard operations. So we need to utilize an Apex action for this. This is just fetching the active approval associated with the past opportunity IDs and then rejecting this particular opportunity. Back to our Flow Orchestrator. So we have chosen a flow which is going to perform reject operation for this particular day. Now let us go to default outcome. Let us add a stage for further approval process. So I am giving this stage as opportunity approval actions. And let us add our first step, which is going to be an interactive step. And as per our criteria, if the amount is less than 10K, we are going to reject it. If not, we would like to assign this to user 1 for review and approval. And that's what we are going to do here. Step 1 of opportunity approval process is going to be verify duplicates and approve. The options available as part of an interactive flow is somewhat different from the backend flow, and I will be able to select a flow here. In our case, we would like to find opportunity duplicates and then perform approval. So I'm choosing already created flow here, which is known as find opportunity duplicate. Let me go back to the flow details, and this is a screen flow. I have got a Apex action here, which is going to find out duplicate opportunities. This is the action where we are finding out duplicate opportunities, and the criteria is that I am finding out all the open opportunities under the same account which has got same product IDs associated, and if there are duplicate available, I am sending the list of duplicate opportunities back to the flow. And once the details are received inside the screen flow, there is a screen where we are going to display all the opportunity details inside a table, and then we will be having an operation to approve or reject deal based on the review. So if the selected action is approved, it is going to call the Apex action approve opportunity. If it is reject, it is going to call the reject opportunity action. We have selected the flow inside the flow orchestrator. In our case, from here we are just passing the opportunity ID. I need to specify an assigned user for this particular operation. This is a limitation of Flow Orchestrator at this moment, where you need to actually mention the user name to which this step should be assigned. And as per the update from Salesforce, later this will be updated with a role or a lookup field where the user selection can be more dynamic. In my case, I would like to assign this opportunity to a sales manager user. So we have one step, that is the find duplicates and approval operation happening here. Now I would like to add one more step, because as per our criteria mentioned inside the presentation, if the user is approving after identifying duplicates, we need to submit or assign this to the second user to review the discount related details. Let me go back to this and add an additional step. Again, this needs to be an interactive step because we are providing the user with an option to review the discount and update if needed, else approve or reject. So selecting interactive step here and renaming this as discount approval. Entry criteria, here we would like to enter to this particular step when the previous step is getting completed. So I'm selecting when another step is marked as complete, and I will be able to select that particular step name here, which is the duplicate identification step that we just created. And then we will be able to select a flow which should be executed as part of this particular step. And let me go back to the flow details and you can see an update discount flow here. It's a confirm discount screen where user will be able to see the current discount percentage, and there is an action selection after that which consists of three choices or pick list operations that we will see later. So once the user select that option, like three options basically, update and approve, confirm and approve, or reject. Based on that, each of the operation will be happening based on this particular flow. Here also, from the flow orchestrator to that selected flow, we need to pass the opportunity ID. So let us select the current record, its ID. Again, we need to mention the record ID here. So let us choose the record, current record, and choose the ID. And this step for the review and approval should be allocated to my own user. Exit condition when the user has completed the operation. So we have created the flow successfully now. The flow is completely ready. You can save this. Now let us go and see this is how this is getting executed. For that, let me create a new opportunity with all the required details, and you can associate this with a particular account. And also stage, I'm going to give it as the initial stage. Discount percentage, I need to give something, so I'm giving it as 10%. Let us save this. Once the opportunity is saved, we need to also add a product to this. Put a quantity and save. Now I will show you how the created flow orchestrator can be added to this particular opportunity. I have already added it here. You can see there is a work guide beta available as part of this opportunity. This is where all the assigned flow orchestrator components will be getting displayed. I can quickly show you by editing this particular page. So if you search here, you can see a flow orchestrator work guide. You can drag and drop it here. That's how you can add the flow orchestrator to the record screen. If you remember correctly, our orchestrator will be executed when we change the stage. So let me change the stage of this particular deal as value proposition and mark as current stage. Now, this is submitted for approval. Let us go back to see the approval history details. You can see this got submitted for approval automatically, and it is currently assigned to sales manager for approval. So in a separate window, I have already logged in as the sales manager. Open the current opportunity. You can see that I have logged in as the sales manager user here. And now if you see the work guide, you can see all the duplicate opportunities associated with the current opportunity is getting displayed here, and the user will be able to either approve or reject this. Then I'm going to approve this. I can click on next one so that this will be completed. So the current sales manager has executed the approve operation, and you can see there is nothing assigned to him as of now. You can see the sales manager approved this already. Now it is assigned to my own user. Now let me go back to my own login, refresh this page and see if we have got something new assigned. You can see that I have got the discount approval details getting displayed on my screen. Current discount percentage is 10. So I feel like this discount percentage is too high. So I'm selecting an option like, update and approve. If I select update and approve and click on next, I will be given with a screen where I will be able to update the discount percentage and approve it. So the opportunity should have approved now. That's why I'm seeing an option or seeing a message here called opportunity got approved. Let me go to the related list. You can see the opportunity got completely approved now. I will quickly show you a negative scenario also where I'm not going to add any product and I will enter something manually. to the amount to see if that opportunity is getting rejected automatically. For that, let me clone this particular opportunity, update the amount as 1000, change the stage to prospecting and save this. I'm changing the value proposition as the current stage. Before that, let us go back to opportunity approval history and you can see there is nothing. Let us mark the current stage as value proposition. Stage successfully, that you can see here. Now go to the approval history related list and you can see that this got submitted for approval and this got rejected automatically because the amount was less. This was a actual demo of how complex business process a flow orchestrator will be able to automate for you. This is the one cycle of the step process. Like when a background step meets its entry criteria, the status will be set to in progress and auto launch flow will get executed. Once the step completed operation, the status will be updated as complete. This is for a background step process, and for interactive step, somewhat similar. When the interactive step is getting initiated, the status will be get set to in progress. The difference is that, like we have seen in this case, on the screen, the user will be seeing the operation that he needs to perform. And there will be an event to be notified to the assigned user. Once the operation is complete, the status will be getting updated as complete. This is a sample assignment email I will be getting whenever a flow record is getting assigned to me. I will be able to click on this record and I can go to the details. Let me show you something else also here. That let me clone this particular opportunity, a stage as prospecting, and let me also add a product and save this. Let us update the status as value proposition so that it will be submitted for approval. Once something is assigned to a user, at the top you will be able to see a link. Once you click on this link, a new window will be coming and you can see all the steps or all the operations associated with that flow orchestrator at this moment. This one is called a flow orchestration instance, and if you go to the related list, you can see different details here, like the current executed step details, executed stage details, and the history. So let's see what are the advantages associated with flow orchestrator. Like we have seen just now, this is providing more flexibility with approval process. And you will be able to assign work to Salesforce users based on criteria. And users will be receiving notification for the assigned work. You will get more control on record lifecycle also and better productivity, since you will be able to campaign multiple actions in a sequential mode, and different users will be seeing different actions on your screen that that particular user needs to execute. There are some considerations also, like you all know this feature is still in beta, and other the problem with Flow Orchestrator we just saw, like you have to give the username, assign username manually. There are some additional limitations also. So please check all this before you plan to create a Flow Orchestrator in your actual environment. Thank you so much for attending this C-Dreamin event, and hopefully you are enjoying it. Please watch the remaining sessions also. Thank you so much.
Sorry, my mic was off. Sorry, everyone. Hi, Meera. So that was a very good conversation that we had. It's a very in-depth study of, I think, Flow Orchestra step by step. You show us exactly how it works, how each of the values actually works, and in stages, in steps, and adding the flows, and how easily it was to put it in as well. So I guess there were questions on the floor, and there were a few, quite a number of them that we would want to take and answer. So first question was that what is the limitation for the Flow Orchestra? I saw it in the last slide that you saw. Maybe Meera, you want to give a brief just answer on that as well?
Sure, yeah, definitely. Thank you. Sure, yeah. So like I mentioned in the presentation, this feature is still on beta. That means Salesforce is still working on enhancing the features. And the main disadvantage or current limitation that I noticed is that you won't be able to specify or dynamically specify a user for the assignment operation. So you need to specify the username as such. That is one limitation. And otherwise, based like number of instances, I mentioned as part of the presentation already. It's a great feature. Like, you know, you will be able to automate lots of things dynamically without utilizing LWC or Visualforce.
Right, correct. That's great. Okay, so I follow up with the next question, Meera. In the demo, is Flow recommended instead of using standard approval process?
Okay, I hope the question was asked during the initial stage of presentation, but you, if you see the presentation, you might have noticed already approval process in place. So the approval process will be there, but the complex operations approval process you can execute utilizing Flow. Like you in an approval process, you will be getting just the approve or for the approver. But with the Flow Orchestrator, you are getting additional operations there. Like you are having screen flow there, able to see complex operations, some record level details based on which you will be able to either approve or reject or perform some other operations. So that is the advantage of utilizing Flow Orchestrator along with the approval process.
All right, cool. So basically, the approval process must still be there. We just need to use Flow Orchestra to actually add on to the functionality that we're doing the approval and the rejection. Cool. That's a great way as well. Okay, next. Okay, so this is a very question that I will probably ask first. For someone who has no tech background and doesn't know Apex code at all, what would be your recommendation? Is it a must to learn Apex coding? I mean, when you're trying to use this Flow Orchestra. So basically, she's asking, is whether do I need Apex in order to use Flow Orchestra? And then if it is, what is recommended? If it's a must, what must you learn in Apex?
Okay, good question. So must. I implemented this scenario because I am basically a developer. That's why I'm able to write the code. And I thought of implementing a complex scenario for the demo purpose. That scenario, implement utilizing normal screen flows and record triggered flows only when it is necessary. For example, in this scenario, I had to use Apex because the approval or reject operation is not possible through standard flow. That's why I had to use Apex. Mandatory, like once in a while you might have to utilize Apex code as an invocable method. So some developers will be able to help you with that, and you can fully concentrate on directly.
Okay, cool. So yes, I think resources are always there. You can always reach out to the community or the developer community, or even go to our MVP's blogs to actually read up on how you want to implement certain things. So that is a good way to learn as well. Okay, number 4. The next question: what if I modify the orchestra when there are still active instances and edit the records again?
Okay, so that happened when I was developing Flow Orchestrator itself, because the flow was the work guide. That is what getting added to the record detail page through our builder. So once it is there, you can still go and modify the flow at the back end, but it will reflect to the user directly on the UI if it is a screen flow. So the changes are real time and directly to the user. That's how it is working.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So there is a certain you need to really make sure that your logic has to really kick in correctly before you actually do any editing. in that sense. Cool. Our so-called next question. Let me see. Going down. Let me see. So one of the attendees was asking any tips for error handling in the record type flow. So Meera, you can briefly talk about this. I will also post the answers in the description. Maybe you just speak a bit on how you want to on this topic itself, and then I'll post your blog on the answers on the discussion as we speak.
Sure, Desmond. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess currently we have got lots of patterns or details available on how you need to handle exceptions as part of Apex coding. Similarly, since Flow is very popular, more flows, exception handling is equally important in flows also nowadays. So I have already a blog post on that, like how you will be able to do exception handling and logging inside a flow utilizing fault connectors. Basically, there is a fault connector component available as part of flows, which you can use to decide or tell the flow what an exception is happening. And utilizing your existing exception handling framework, you can log an exception. Also, as part of Winter 20, there is a rollback behavior available, but it is just available for ScreenFlow. If I remember correctly, I have written a blog post on that one also. Like if something goes wrong, you will be able to roll back your transaction. There are some conditions applied there, but you can refer the blog link that Desmond is going to share to get more details on that.
Wow, thanks, Meera. You have answered all the questions that is there. Just as a take back, what's the conclusion or a summary that you want to tell the audience? Like, why should you use Flow Orchestra? Maybe like a few words on it.
Definitely, because when I saw this, I was really excited because I was able to relate some of the implementations I have done in the past utilizing Visualforce pages or utilizing LWC components that we will be able to easily implement now utilizing Orchestrator without writing any code. That's the great advantage of having Flow Orchestrator with us. I guess one use case I already implemented. Similar to that, you can have multiple use cases where complex, especially if you want to sequence that, like one operation after another, and if there are multiple users in them should see different actions, Flow Orchestrator is a great choice.
All right, thanks for that good summary. So I think everyone has really benefited. I saw some people have posted on their chat that is really a great session. Thank you, Meera. Thank you so much for giving us this so in-depth way of doing this Flow Orchestra thing. I have benefited a lot. I've seen that too, and I believe our attendees who are going to think of using Flow Orchestra, they will definitely put into consideration to put this process in and this functionality to be used. So so I thank you everyone for attending this session. Thank you, Meera. Again, a round of applause. I think she really did a marvelous part on the presentation itself. It was really good. Yeah. So I think that is excellent. We will see you in the demo jam in the next session. And please remember to complete the survey after this portion of it to give us feedback so that we can actually do it better. If not, then I'll just say bye-bye to everyone and see you guys in the next session as well. So thank you, Meera. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Desmond. Thank you all. Bye.